We've all seen those comments online of some troll commenting on a video saying, get a real job, for somebody that's trying to make money in maybe not the typical fashion that normal people would get a job. So I thought it'd be funny to watch some videos online of people that are trying to get jobs in today's market. Stay tuned, this is going to be fun.
What's the job market looking like in June 2024? Let's talk about it. In this video, I'm going to break down the current job market across 3 different metrics and then give it a score out of 10. I'll also share my thoughts on where I think the market's headed. So the first thing we're going to take a look at today's unemployment rate. As you can see based on this graph, this thing just keeps going up and up. In fact, it's climbed all the way up to 4%, and that's definitely not a good sign. What this means is there are more and more people who've potentially been laid off or just generally struggling to find jobs out there, and that's definitely not a good sign. The second metric we're going to take a look at today is job openings. As you can see based on the latest reading here, the number of jobs open out there have definitely dropped off quite a bit. And when you think about the number of jobs open going down and compare that to the unemployment rate going up, that basically means there are more and more people out there competing for very few jobs, and that's definitely not looking too good. So with all these factors considered, I'm going to give the current job market a total score of 3 out of 10. And that's mostly because unemployment continues to go up and the number of job openings continue to trend downwards. Going forward, I do see the job market improving, but keep in mind it's going to be a very slow process getting there, and it's all going to start with the first rate cut, which people think could be as early as September, but no guarantees.
Companies are saying that they're...
So what he's saying is that, yes, there are a ton of people that are unemployed right now, but at the same time, there's just no jobs to be had. You might see that there's a lot of companies out there putting up signs saying we're hiring, but that's simply not true. And I'm wondering why that's not true, but we'll get into that later on in the video.
Companies are saying that they're urgently hiring, but yet they're
Actually, no, they're not rejecting everyone. They're simply not hiring. I hate to tell you this, but these jobs don't exist. I'm a tech recruiter, and I get ghosted by my company and other agencies we work for and positions we try to fill 90% of the time. I'll have people get first round, second round, third round interviews, even to the point where, yeah, they're gonna figure out the financials and send them a job offer. That doesn't happen. There is no offer. All they do is they're trying to make it look like they're busy, and it looks like they're hiring. And then for whatever reason at the end of the road, oh, it doesn't work out. I am literally being told now to don't worry about what hires I get, just worry about hitting my numbers. So that means all they care about is me submitting resumes and that's it. There's definitely something political going on that they're not disclosing on why they are doing this to begin with, but yeah, it's a load of bullshit. Unless you're a rock star and you agree to get underpaid 20 grand, you're not getting an offer.
I lost my job.
So, like we said in the last video, there are a ton of people that you might see signs saying that all these companies are hiring, but that's simply not true. Now, I thought it was interesting what he said about the political aspect, because whenever you see Biden come on any kind of news channel or he's talking to the press or whatever, he's saying, we have created all these jobs. We've created all these jobs. That's great. But none of those jobs are hiring anybody. All these people are applying to jobs and no one's getting them. And the worst part is that all these people are applying to jobs and not getting them. The people that do have jobs are currently losing them, like this next chick over here.
On March 7th, 2024, I loved my job. I was marketing director for a restaurant group, a very successful one, 5 restaurants in LA that went down to 1 restaurant in Los Angeles in a matter of months. It's May 7th, 2024, and I still don't have a job. But why, Gailey? Why? I don't know, you tell me. I'm a pretty well-connected person, I would say. I think I'm likable on a good day. And I'm freaking out.
What?
So, I think it's interesting that, one of the important things she said was talking about how their job they had 5 restaurants that they used to have, and it went down to 1. This is just another example of the economy going to shit. All these stores and restaurants are closing, especially if you're talking about like California, New York, places like that, where the rent is astronomically high. Just the price of living is astronomically high, and that's taking away jobs itself is the fact that these companies can't hold businesses open long enough to be able to hire people in general. And then if you do get hired, the amount of money that you're going to be making or the type of job that you're going to be getting is either going to be retail or smaller companies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I have nothing against retail. I worked in retail for 10 years. But you're going to be getting a job that you most likely you're not going to want in the future. And you're not going to be getting paid a lot of money, such as this guy right here. Let's listen to him.
Why the fuck did I have a job interview at TJ Maxx the other day, and then everything went well, but the end, he told me that they pay $12 an hour and they get paid every week. So I was like, yeah. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking that fucking job because, like, what the fuck? Then I just got a call that I got the fucking job, and why the fuck did I tell this man yes? I really don't even know what the fuck to do, because $12 an hour, I couldn't even wipe my ass with $12 an hour. What the fuck is that gonna do for me? I don't know. Let me know what y'all think I should do.
So... exactly what I was saying is that you're going to be going after jobs that you're most likely you're not going to want in the future, and you're going to get paid almost nothing. So the thing is that all these people that are saying get a real job, now technically that is a real job, okay? You're working in a store, an actual reputable company, and you're getting paid weekly and you're on a schedule. That's a real job. So all these trolls that are saying gig work are not real jobs, or freelancers are not real jobs, or YouTubers are not real jobs. The thing is that person was getting offered $12 an hour. I can name so many things that you can do that are considered not real jobs, and you'd be getting paid a hell of a lot more than $12. Not only that, but in order to get that crappy job that he just talked about, nothing against TJ Maxx, but come on, $12 an hour to be a TJ Maxx associate, that's a crappy job. You will have to apply to countless jobs before even being considered for that job. Just like this chick right here. Let's watch.
I have literally applied to over 100 jobs. Over 100 jobs, and I just can't hear anything back. And if I hear anything back, unfortunately with other candidates, why are all of these places hiring but won't fucking hire someone? I genuinely don't understand how there's hundreds of jobs out there, but I can't get one. I don't really get how where the disconnect is with that. Where me and my boyfriend are trying to move to either New York or Colorado, and I get the market in New York is probably really competitive, but I should not have to apply to over 100 jobs to be able to get a job, and I still don't even have a job. I'm gonna have to apply to fucking 100 more somehow. It's so frustrating, the market right now, and I just don't know.
So over 100 jobs, back in my day, I'm not that old, but I'm getting there. I'm 38 this year, and back in my day, when you would go to apply for jobs, I've never applied for over 100 jobs. I've applied for 10 jobs, but it used to be that you build your resume spot on, you have your credentials, you went to school, you have a lot of experience, or maybe not even a lot of experience. You bring your resume into a store, you talk to the manager, and you show them what kind of person you are. You got the job. Easy peasy. Nowadays, people are applying to hundreds, if not thousands of jobs, and they're not even getting callbacks. They're getting callbacks 1 out of 100 times. They're getting a callback for them to talk to people and then still be rejected. Not only that, but then once you do have a job, the economy is so bad that one job's not good enough. So it's hard enough to get one job, but you're gonna have to get a second job as well. Just like this chick right here.
I'm 48 years old. I've been living on this planet for 48 years. I've been in Massachusetts most of those years. It's expensive here. I own my own home. I work a full-time job in lending. For the last 5 months, I have been looking for a part-time job for weekends and evenings. I have sent out a dozen resumes practically daily. And I've applied from the local dispensary to Filene's to other lending jobs. Nobody's even calling me back. I've gotten a couple interviews here and there. I've gotten a few full-time job interviews, but that doesn't give me more money. That just replaces the money I'm already making. I need more money because I went through my bills. I can't afford food. Single mom. Elderly father living with me. I can't afford to feed my family. American dream, people.
American dream, people. The American dream right now is that with one full-time, well-paying job, you cannot afford food and you cannot afford to feed your family. American dream. And people are saying, get a real job when people are struggling to feed their family. And then you have the audacity to come online as a troll and ridicule somebody for someone that's doing gig work. You don't even know their background. They could be having a real job and this is their side hustle just to make enough money to make it by. And you have the audacity to comment on someone's page saying, get a real job? Let's see what's happening with the job recruitment.
In the recruitment space for coming up to a decade, and I've never seen a job market that's so difficult on candidates. You have to apply to literally hundreds, if not thousands of jobs before you start hearing back. We're seeing response rates of around 1 to 3%, meaning for every 100 applications you send through, you're gonna get one callback. And that's if your resume is on point. We're now seeing longer interview processes, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 rounds of interviews. And then, if you don't get ghosted, you're more than likely gonna get a low ball offer. In an employer market, the employers have all the power. They can get longer processes, they can force people back to the office, they can pay less, and they'll still find people that wanna work for them. This is a stark contrast to the Great Resignation, which was a candidate market. Candidates had multiple offers, companies had to move quickly, and remote work was very popular. The good news here is that because it's an employer market, and the job market is like any other market, things will change and it will return to a candidate market eventually. From a lot of people I'm talking to, it's going to be potentially around the election time or after the election moving into next year that we start to see more demand for hiring come back. And then we'll start to see things like remote work, higher pay, and flexibility come back because that's what candidates want during the candidate market. The Great Resignation 2.0.
That's what everyone wants. Super important to vote this election, but we're not going to be talking about politics in this. What is important in the fact that what he said is that 1%, you get one callback out of all those applicants that you put in. Now, that's if you have a like airtight, like perfect resume, you get one callback. But what happens to all these Gen Zers and even millennials, the people that might not have all of the experience? Now, technically, I'm a millennial, I think, 38, born in 1985, whatever that is. But the newcomers, the teenagers, the ones that are just getting out of college, they don't have any experience. How is your resume going to be ironclad if you don't even have any experience? So the only people that are even getting callbacks are the people that already have experience. So the people that don't have experience, they're just shit out of luck. What kind of world is that? So, let's talk about job security with this chick right here. Let's watch.
The pizza shop probably does have a lot more job security than a lot of us because corporate America is in decline. Big tech is having layoffs constantly. We all see the videos and LinkedIn posts about people not being able to pay their bills. Like, shit is rough out there. But you know what? People are always going to want to eat pizza. Pizza's delicious. It's also inexpensive. So yeah, the guy at the pizza shop probably going to keep his job for a while. You know what else we need to stop doing is applying moral value to jobs because it's weird and it doesn't make sense because labor is labor is labor is labor. Your job isn't any better than mine because you sit at a desk sending an email and I have to work in someone's home being their nanny. Like, person at the pizza shop is doing a job. Just like you're doing your job, Hope, when you get on stage and tell mediocre jokes.
A job is a job is a job is a job. I love how she was talking about how there should be no more occupation shaming. Just because somebody's delivering food or making pizzas, working at McDonald's, doesn't matter what they're doing, you shouldn't be telling them to get a real job. If you are making money, period. If you are making money, guess what? You have a real job. You have a real job. In today's economy, if you are making money, you have a real job. And all these trolls need to shut the fuck up. Let's listen to this next guy. I honestly, I don't know who he sounds like. He sounds like the guy who used to pretend he has big ears, the comedian on, not Pauly Shore, but some other guy. I forgot his name, but let me know in the comments below who you think this guy sounds like. But he's making a very good point that I want to talk about, and the point is that even with good credentials, you can't get a job. So let's take a listen.
Is anyone else sick and tired of this job market that we're currently in? You go on LinkedIn or you go on Indeed or wherever you go to look for jobs, and all you see is a list of thousands of jobs that are urgently hiring. And then you apply and it takes weeks to hear back, only for them to say no. I mean, you go through weeks of application, of interviews, of Zoom interviews, of all of these different hoops that you have to jump through, and then at the end they're like, oh yeah, we don't have this position available anymore, by the way. Not to mention that you have the most basic entry-level jobs that are requiring a master's degree, that are requiring 10 years of work experience, that are requiring 5 years of community service hours. If a company puts that they are urgently looking for an entry-level accountant, and I just graduated college with my accounting degree, shouldn't I be eligible for that position? Well, apparently not. Apparently I'm actually so ineligible that I can't even get a damn callback for an entry-level accounting position that I am more than qualified for.
That guy cracks me up.
Apparently not.
He makes a good point though, is that, you know, all these companies are saying that they need jobs, but again, these are just shadow jobs. They're trying to make it seem like the market is booming for whatever reason that may be. But these are all shadow jobs. They're not actually hiring. And the fact that he said, you know, if you graduate college with like an accounting job, you should be able to get an entry-level accounting job as long as you can, have a nice resume and be able to speak as a normal human being. I'm sure that he doesn't speak like that when he talks to jobs, or employers, but he makes a good point. You should be able to get a job. No one's being able to get a job. All these people are spending all this money on college and then not being able to do anything with the college. It's interesting. Let's talk about what this chick has to say about how 9-to-5 jobs are dead.
So bad that people aren't even going back to full-time work anymore. I was scrolling on LinkedIn earlier, just kind of catching up on things, and I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how they're just choosing to freelance or contract work, not even creatively, like cleaning houses, like making websites, anything considered contract work. They're actually making more money doing multiple part-time jobs than picking one full-time job and like getting underpaid and overworked. I never thought I would see that in our society where people are just so over it. Obviously there are people getting hired, but like there's also a lot of people that are been searching for like 6 months to a year and they just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's the endless interviews, it's the endless rejection. I mean, it gets really tiring after a while. If you don't have a job, got laid off, or you're unemployed right now, are you like pounding out job interviews from home?
So I thought it was interesting that she did actually mention Gigwork in there. She did say Uber Eats. And the thing is that she's talking about how all these people are getting tired of pounding out job interviews or pounding out sending out their resumes to companies. What I think is interesting is when I apply to all these gig work positions, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, Spark, Grubhub, all these things, guess what I didn't have to do? I haven't talked to a single employee at that company. I've talked to the support representatives. Those aren't employees. Those are contract workers that they contract from overseas or from somebody's basement or something like that. But I didn't have to go through an interview process. I applied online and I got the job instantly. Not some of them like Instacart and Spark, you might have to wait because they're so popular right now. Everyone wants to do gig work. Yet it's not a real job, right? And you don't have to actually talk to anybody. You don't have to send out your applications. You don't have to go through interviews. You apply and you get the job. Keyword here, job. You get the job. Yeah, it's interesting. What are we doing? We're working. We're not pounding out interviews. I mean, you can. I mean, you can send out your resumes and do interviews while you're doing gig work, but the point is that it's a real job because we're working.
but I don't believe they can have a career.
Okay, so what she's saying is that you can have a job but not a career.
Who says we want a career? I mean, I don't know about you, but for someone who did the high school to college to career pipeline that was force-fed to us basically by the older generation, and now that we're working and we've seen the other side, I can't help but look at the work that I do, the job that I have, as a literal business transaction. And my employer pays me for that service to literally be able to live my life, because life is so damn expensive. And so this whole career narrative, I'm done with it, you know, because it's like, why does everything have to be infinite growth? Why does everything have to be exponentially greater than it was before? Can't we just plateau and be okay with where we're at? Like, just because this company is chasing infinite growth doesn't mean I have to.
I mean, I think that's a super interesting point. I actually haven't thought about that point ever, to be honest. Is that because everyone always wants to succeed nonstop? You want to have raises every single year. What happens if you get to the point where you are comfortable, where you have enough money to save for vacations, save for retirement, feed your family, have a house, have a car, not have to worry about emergency expenses because you have stuff put away? You make enough money. You make enough money where you are comfortable. Who's to say that you can just continue to do what you're doing and not have to worry about a career where you need to have to continue to progress up the line? And the thing is that the higher you go in a company, the more worry you actually have to worry about, because the more money you make in a company means you have a higher chance of maybe being let go of that company, because that company might not want to be paying somebody that makes too much money. I've seen it firsthand, that people go up and up and up, and then eventually they get let go because the company just can't afford to keep them. They will hire somebody else for the same position who makes significantly more money, and guess what? They're hired under the same pretexts of, there's a lot of growth in this company, there's a lot of opportunities for you to move up. And as soon as they do, and they end up making more money, either they're going to leave the company, and which the company will probably be excited for, because then they'll be able to hire somebody else that makes less money, or they're going to be let go, and the process will start over again, the circle of corporation life. I think it's a great point. I don't think anyone needs to have a career. If you want to have a career, go ahead. But why does it need to be so cookie cutter in the fact that you need to do that? You need to go to school. You need to get into hundreds of $1,000s worth of debt. And then you need to go into a job that barely pays you, and you have to work 10 years to work up the line to get a decent salary, and then have to worry about it, and then still not be able to pay off the debt of your student loans because you're not getting paid enough. Let's talk about retirement for a second.
A lot of people have been predicting this for a very long time. The retirement crisis is now among us because the baby boomers are starting to retire. A recent study showed that 1/3 of all people between the ages of 65 and 69, retirement age, have had to go back to work. A lot of them are going back to work because of financial problems. Also, remember in the past you had things like pensions that protected people from themselves, forced them to save, and now those pensions are not there. People are leaning on their savings and their 401ks. That's not enough. And so basically, this is going to be a crisis that's going to continue to grow. It's also something where I'm just warning you, if you're younger, you got to save, and you have to live below your means, or you're going to have problems at retirement. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here.
Great points. So first of all, what he said about how people are the age where they're going to be retiring, but they're being forced to work. That's just another metric of why people can't get jobs, because all these people that should be retiring, that should be leaving their jobs and opening up positions for other people to come in, they're no longer leaving. They're coming back. So that means there's more people competing for the jobs that the newcomers are trying to get. The other good point that I think he made is that living below your means. There's too many people nowadays that want to have that $100,000 car, which is like $1,000 monthly payment, along with like a $400 insurance. Who's paying $1,400 for a car? And before you say that people don't, yes, they absolutely are. Yes, they absolutely are. Do some research. Look how much cars cost right now, how much insurance is for a brand new car, especially a car that pays that's anywhere between $70,000 to $100,000. People want to ride around like they're a G, like they're all that and a bag of chips when no one cares about what car you're riding in. No one cares. No one's looking at you being like, oh, that's big dick energy right there. I want to be like him. No. Maybe you have a fantasy of owning that car, but no one's actually going to go and buy out a car that's $150,000 for no reason when you don't have the money to pay for it. Look, I'd rather have $10,000 in a plastic bag than $1 in a $10,000 bag. Let that sink in for a second there. I'd rather look poor and have money than look rich and have no money, if you know what I mean. Okay? I think a lot more people, especially the younger age people, should be thinking about how they should be living under their means so that they have emergency funds, so that they have at least some money for vacations or if something happens, or even start putting away for a retirement fund. Not in a 401k, more like an S&P investment instead of a 401k, but that's another topic in itself, okay? Let's talk about this guy looking for jobs as well.
The United States job market is fucking cooked. For reference, in the past few months, I've applied to 1,400 jobs on LinkedIn alone. I've applied to hundreds of jobs on Indeed, hundreds of jobs on the company's direct website, and I've gone around in person to around 100 jobs, giving out my resume and having interviews that way. And I'm here to tell you from firsthand experience, it's all a sham. It's a disaster. Hiring managers aren't doing their job, and companies are posting ghost jobs. Oh, not to mention super profitable companies such as Google are now laying off employees, although they're having record-breaking profits. All well, boomers and people that don't understand on the outside that have a no touch with reality go, oh, you're just not working hard enough. Or people go and get a job in retail. Look, some of these jobs are minimum wage. The worst part about it all is how discouraging it's become. It's almost like I want to accept defeat, but I'm not going to. But I'll go so many times through 3, 4, even 5 rounds of interviews just for them to tell me that I'm not the right candidate for them, and then they'll repost the job. They're saying we're urgently hiring. It's a load of shit. It's a lot, and it makes me really frustrated. Thankfully, I'm gonna be starting some side hustles that'll be getting me some extra income because this job market is so cooked. We are in a disastrous job market economy right now. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. It's a fucking shit show.
I mean, there you have it right there. I good for him, first of all, for not giving up. I don't know about if I believe the 1,800 job applications, but he doesn't seem like he's lying. But you don't know. There's a lot of people that are chasing the clout right now for job market, blah blah blah. But the thing that I thought was interesting that he says is that he's going to be starting side hustles to be able to supplement his income until he finds a job, which that's what I've been talking about this entire time. You can absolutely have a side hustle while you're looking for a job. You can absolutely have a full-time day job like myself. I have a full-time day job and I have the side hustles because the economy's that bad. Listen, the point of this video is the fact that when people say get a real job, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, okay? All you are is somebody that's a neckbeard online, that's staring at somebody working and hustling, trying to improve their life, their standard of living, or feed their family, or get food when there is a homeless crisis all over this country, and you have the gall to come online and accuse them of not having a real job when they are making money. And here's the other thing. We talked about how you can get a job at TJ Maxx or retail or any other job like that, and you could be being paid pennies. Chances are I'm making more, and all the other gig workers out there are making more money than most of the real jobs that you can get out there. I average $25 to $30 an hour, average, and it can go up to $50 an hour. Not only that, but when you do YouTube on the side, like if you are a gig tuber and you do YouTube and film yourself doing this, you also have YouTube money on the side. It's a lot more profitable than people think. And for somebody to just make judgments on someone when they have no idea about that person or what's happening in their life, you got to do better than that. Honestly, all you're doing is just taking enjoyment from trying to put somebody down that's trying to improve their life. Honestly, I think gig work is the answer right now to what's happening in the economy. No matter what situation you're in, get a gig work job. If you have a job, get a gig work job on top of it. If you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, get a gig work job while you're waiting. If you can't get another job because you just don't have experience, get a gig work job. You can drive around. You have no experience needed. Deliver food. Start a YouTube channel. There's a lot of you people right now that are 40, like I'm almost 40 plus, starting YouTube channels because YouTube right now is pushing small channels. You can make money doing anything. You can be a freelancer, you can be a contractor, you can sell products online, you can do whatever you want. The point is if you're making money, it's a real job. The world is changing. The world is not 1962 anymore. It's not the early 1900s where a real job is somewhere where you're sitting down, you have a tie, you're sitting there in a cubicle or, some other job like that. That's not the only job that is considered a real job. Jobs today, the internet is huge. The opportunities you have to make money in various ways is unlimited. When people say they can't get jobs, first of all, I sympathize with you. But second of all, considering there's all these gig work opportunities and there's all these online opportunities, there are so many things you can do to hustle. Right now, I have 4 or 5 different revenue streams coming in, and I work my butt off. I work 90 hours a week plus. I'm saving for a house. You can't afford anything right now, and I'm saving for a house at the end of 2025. I'm doing what I can. I'm hustling. So you can comment all you want about me trying to get a job, a real job, but at the end of the day, I have a real job. I know that I have a real job. Listen, if you made it to the end of this video, really appreciate you. I hope that you're making a lot of money if you're a gig worker. If you're not a gig worker and you're looking for a job, just apply to be a gig worker. Make that money. I'll see you in the next video. Mad Dasher, out.